Good morning and welcome to Cullman Today. I'm your host, Katie Spicer. It's Wednesday, January 24th, 2024, and can you believe that we have inclement weather yet again? Be careful out there today and tonight as chances of thunderstorms persist throughout the day and into nighttime hours. More action from the Cullman County basketball tournament as events are finally starting back up following last week's epic ice and sleet storm. And of course, we'll take a look at the weather and obituaries all coming now on Cullman Today. Let's get into the top stories. Victim Services is pleased to announce the appointment of Jessica Atchley as the Interim Executive Director. With an impressive background in leadership and management, Jessica brings a wealth of experience to her new role. In her career, Jessica has delved deeply into the fields of behavioral health and substance misuse. She has actively collaborated with numerous nonprofits and task forces, contributing her expertise to tackle challenges including human trafficking, homelessness, and the support of at-risk youth. Assuming the role of Interim Executive Director, Jessica will be responsible for guiding the organization's strategic direction programs and services dedicated to offering comprehensive support for victims of crime. With her fervor for advocacy and a proven track record, she stands as the ideal candidate to steer Victim Services through this transitional period. I am honored to join Victim Services and be a part of an organization that plays a crucial role in supporting survivors and promoting healing within our community, said Jessica Atchley. I am committed to building on the strong foundation laid by my predecessor and working collaboratively with the dedicated team at Victim Services. Victim Services is confident that Jessica's leadership will further enhance the organization's impact and ensure the continuation of high-quality services for victims of abuse. The Board of Directors looks forward to working closely with Jessica during this interim period. For more information on VSC's shelter and other services, visit www.victimservicesofcullman.com or call the administrative office at 256-775-2600. A 24-hour crisis line is available at 256-734-6100. Cullman Electric Cooperative has announced a new substation and is almost ready to go into the Berlin community. This is the first station of multiple to be overhauled in Cullman County in an effort to improve reliability and reduce outages for customers in the co-op service areas. The co-op's engineering team has worked tirelessly to get the new Berlin substation up to par, which is expected to spark up and serve its purpose in early 2024. High School Inspires team members share about their project that landed them the overall winner for Division A at Cullman County Board of Education's meeting on Tuesday, January 23, 2024. Left to right, we have Vinemont High School teacher and Inspire sponsor Shannon Bridges, Emma Smith, Rylan McCrae, Tatum Brown, Jackson Lehman, and Jake Hale. The Vinemont High School Inspires team was the guest of honor at the Cullman County Board of Education's regular meeting that was rescheduled due to the previous week's ice storms. Members of the team, including Emma Smith, Rylan McCrae, Tatum Brown, Jackson Lehman, and Jake Hale, briefly described their project with staff sponsor and Vinemont High School teacher Shannon Bridges, proudly declaring that their project garnered a first place and overall win for Division A, beating out several charter and math and science schools. Inspires is a collaboration with UAH, and NASA UAH designs the program and mission, and NASA funds it. The students must design a payload to a destination in space. They have to design the payload and calculate the math and physics that go into it. There are several things that they have to do for their project, explained Bridges, sharing that over the last semester, members of the Inspires team performed education outreach with students at Vinemont Elementary, managed social media platforms for the project, and wrote a 9-page paper for the project. Most impressively, the students performed a final review for a team of NASA engineers. The review is a formal presentation to convince NASA that their payload is the best, and convince they did, with Vinemont High's Inspires team payload and mission concept bringing home the gold. One bragging division was the charter schools and science and math schools, and they beat all of those schools. Bridges smiled as the meeting attendees applauded their efforts of the students. Now that we have the top stories out of the way, we are going to take a quick break before returning with sports. Hello and welcome back. Now it's time to find out what's going on in the world of sports with stories from Cullman Tribune sports editor Nick Griffin. This year's Cullman County basketball tournament resumed play Tuesday night with two more JV and varsity matchups. First up were Holly Pond and Fairview in the opening round of the JV girls bracket. The Lady Broncos built a 23-15 lead over the Lady Aggies in the first half and cruised past Fairview in the second half to wrap up a 58-32 win and clinch a spot in the semifinals. Holly Pond's Millie McBee led all scorers with 24 points in the win, and Madeline Hill scored 15 for the Lady Broncos after knocking down 5 three-pointers. Brooklyn Miriam posted 9 points for Fairview in the loss. Holly Pond will now advance to take on the top-seeded Good Hope Lady Raiders in the JV girls semifinals Thursday night at 5 p.m. In our second tournament game of the evening, West Point clashed with Holly Pond with a spot in the JV boys semifinals on the line. The Warriors dominated this game from start to finish, taking a 32-8 lead in the locker room at halftime before pulling away in the second half to collect a 53-18 win. Sawyer Harris led West Point with 13 points in the win, and Nolan Franklin finished just behind him with 12. Landon Lovell posted 3 points for Holly Pond in the loss. The Warriors will be back on the court Friday night at 5 p.m. to face Good Hope in the JV boys semifinals. The first varsity contest of the night, the Lady West Point Warriors met the Lady Aggies of Fairview to play for a spot in Thursday night's semifinals. West Point got off to a strong start and went into the locker room with a 28-19 lead at halftime and fended off a second-half push from the Lady Aggies to earn a 56-44 win and advance to the semifinals. Liberty Shaddix led the Lady Warriors with 17 points in the win, and Lakin Shaddix finished with 11. Jayla Gorham led Fairview with 15 points in the loss. West Point will return to Tom Drake Coliseum Thursday night at 7:30 to take on Cold Springs in the varsity girls semifinals. To cap off Tuesday night's tournament action, Hanceville and Holly Pond battled it out in the opening round of the varsity boys competition, and 4 quarters weren't enough for these two teams to settle things. The score was knotted at 17 at halftime, and after the Bulldogs pulled ahead to take a late lead, the Broncos stormed back to tie the game at the end of regulation and forced overtime. Holly Pond was able to edge Hanceville in overtime to collect a dramatic 62-59 win and earn a spot in the semifinals. Colin Brown led the Broncos with 31 points in the win, and Boston Gibbs finished with 12. Connor Helms led the way with 16 points in the loss. Holly Pond will be back on the court Friday night at 7:30 to face West Point in the varsity boys semifinals. That covers sports for today, but make sure to check with the Cullman Tribune each day for the latest in sports coverage from across the area. We'll be back after this message. Welcome back to Cullman Today. Now it's time to speed things up with our news rundown. 4 stories in 4 minutes. The Cullman Area Chamber of Commerce has opened its nominations for their January Small Business of the Month. Cullman residents can either fill out a questionnaire on the Chamber of Commerce website to nominate their favorite mom and pop shop, or call the Chamber at 256-734-0454 and will also enter a nomination for your favorite business. Baldwin Heights Baptist Church, a small church on Highway 278 West, is rallying around their community and offering coats, sweaters, and warm clothing to anyone who may need a few warm items. The clothing and costs were donated by a local resource, Cullman Caring for Kids. The clothing giveaway will take place at Baldwin Heights Baptist Church on Saturday, January 27th, beginning at 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. Yesterday marked the first meeting of a new women's choir in Cullman County. Cullman Women Sing is a chorus comprised of local women coming together to create beautiful noise while creating deep friendships and connections. The Cullman Women's Choir meets each Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. at 7th Street Baptist Church Choir Room. Check it out if you have the time. Cullman City Head Start and Pre-K announced this week that a few openings for potential students are available within their programs, and applications are being accepted for new students to enroll. Serving children ages 3 and 4 in Cullman, Cullman City Head Start and Pre-K has been developing students from a young age for over 25 years. Contact Heather Battles at Cullman City Primary School for more information about registration requirements and eligibility. Now for a quick break before we look at the weather ahead and pay our respect with obituaries. I'll be right back after this quick message. Welcome back. Let's take a moment to pause and remember those who have passed away this week as we turn to obituaries. Louise Pinehart Pugh. Louise Pinehart Pugh of Birmingham passed away at UAB Palliative Care on January 21, 2024 at the age of 84. A celebration of life funeral service will be on Friday, January 26, 2024 at 3 p.m. at Moss Service Funeral Home Chapel. Interment will follow services in Cullman City Cemetery. Visitation will be on Friday from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. at Moss Service Funeral Home. Moss Service Funeral Home directing. Jerry David Smith. Memorial service for Jerry David Smith, age 74 of Vinemont, will be Saturday, January 27, 2024 at 1 p.m. at Ebenezer Baptist Church with Brother Dennis Trimble officiating. Cullman Funeral Home is honored to serve the family. Marie Eddie York. Marie Eddie York, age 88 of Nuevo, passed away Saturday, January 20th, 2024 at Walker Baptist Medical Center. She was born January 1st, 1936 to Esker and Leona Owens. The family will hold a private memorial service at a later date. Dwayne Elliott Hine. Dwayne Elliott Hine, age 55, was born to Pam Hine Carter in Minneapolis, Minnesota on November 3, 1968. He went to his heavenly home with the Lord on January 22, 2024. A celebration of life service will be held at 12 p.m. Saturday, January 28, 2024 at Vinemont Community Center. Bradley Jr. Sapp. Funeral services for Bradley Jr. Sapp, age 49 of Vinemont, will be Saturday, January 27, 2024 at 2 p.m. at Mount Vernon Church. Family will welcome friends from 11:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Interment will be held at Mount Vernon Cemetery. Cullman Funeral Home is honored to serve the family. Mary Jane Stansel. Graveside service for Mary Jane Stansel, age 72 of Cullman, will be at 3 p.m. on Friday, January 26, 2024 at Mount Carmel Cemetery at Berlin, with burial at Mount Carmel Cemetery at Berlin. Cullman Heritage Funeral Home is in charge of arrangements. Emmeline P. Tolbert. Funeral service for Emmeline P. Tolbert, age 88 of Vinemont, will be Sunday, January 28, 2024 at 2 p.m. at Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. Family will welcome friends from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. Interment will be held at Blair Cemetery. Cullman Funeral Home is honored to serve the family. Sammy Lynn Needham. Sammy Lynn Needham of Holly Pond, Alabama, was welcomed into heaven on January 22, 2024 at the age of 65. A celebration of life will be held for Mr. Needham on June 1, 2024 at the Needham home. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to the account of Sammy Needham at People's Bank of Alabama. Holly Pond Funeral Home is honored to serve the Needham family. Miguelina Atala Garcia Almonte. A funeral service for Miguelina Alamonte 40 of Hanceville will be at 10 a.m. Friday, January 26, 2024 at Sacred Heart Catholic Church. Visitation for the public will be at Sacred Heart Church on Friday from 8:45 a.m. until 9:15 a.m. The rosary will be from 9:15 a.m. until 9:45 a.m. The burial will take place at Sacred Heart Cemetery in Cullman. Our hearts and prayers go out to their friends and family. For a more in-depth look at obituaries, please visit the Cullman Tribune's website or pick up a print version of the Tribune. Now let's take a look at today's weather forecast. Today's forecast is showing a temperature of 58 degrees throughout the day and the nighttime hours. A slight chance of thunderstorms is possible this morning, and then a chance of thunderstorms is expected in the afternoon. Some thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall during the morning, while the afternoon storms may produce heavy rainfalls as well as southeast winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. There's a 90% chance of rain, so make sure to prepare appropriately. Nighttime continues the threat of thunderstorms with a 100% chance of rain. Some of these thunderstorms may produce heavy rainfall. Just remember to stay safe, and if you can't see the roadway, then it's not worth taking a chance driving through. Everybody stay safe. That concludes our broadcast for today. Thank you for joining us on Cullman Today, and we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Remember to have a great day, be safe, and bundle up. Until next time, I'm Katie Spicer for Cullman Today.